What is going on, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of How is Bigger Gonna Piss the World Off? And also the third episode of the Bald, Black, and Brilliant podcast. Let me get a round of applause. Thank you. Today, what we're going to be discussing, there's actually going to be a few things. Number one, I want to apologize for not being able to put out a podcast last week. I have been having some health issues, nothing to worry about, but because of those issues, I've had to have a few procedures done. And last week I had a procedure. Between that and work, I just really did not have the time, energy, or bandwidth to record a podcast. But I am back this week, thankfully. Now, the first thing that I wanted to talk about, I actually wanted to do this video last week, is the video from I believe it was Fresh and Fit is the name of the podcast, with the young black chick who was saying a whole bunch of, but really she was just talking bullshit. And everybody was up in arms and super upset, and rightfully so, because she was really talking some fucking bullshit. But I think that one of the things that people kind of missed within that conversation is the whole setup, right? The dude whose podcast that is. Now, first, just let me give you a little bit of background. I am familiar with that podcast. I have never been a fan, definitely never watched, but they got my attention when, what's the dude, the Tate guy. I keep wanting to say Lorenz Tate, and it is definitely not Lorenz Tate. What the hell is his fucking name? Anyway, the Tate brothers, when they were doing their whole misogynoir run, going on every different podcast, Fresh and Fit had them on, and that's when I first became aware of them. And as I watched clips from their podcast, you'll see a very direct pattern that basically of the show, right? He usually has a bunch of females on. They sit like at a round table kind of deal, and he'll have different females on, and the females will usually be either mattress actresses or OnlyFans models, or have something to do with the adult entertainment field. And generally their talking points are just this basic Dottism, right? Basically every man that they deal with is paying for their time, and they view men as, just wallets, basically. And then the dudes on the podcast basically condemn them and tell them that they are prime examples of what men do not want. That is the basic basis for the basic format, rather, for the podcast that they do. And their audience are all incels. Everyone who subscribes and interacts with that podcast is an actual incel. These are dudes that do not have the wherewithal to approach women in the street. And some of them may have approached women in the street that have that same kind of vibe that the women on their panels give off. And that's why they kind of gravitate to it. But make no mistake, it is 100% a show that is just basically promoting misogyny. And one of the things that the hosts do is manipulate the women, or manipulate the conversation, and get the women on these podcasts to say certain things. Usually it's things that are self-defaming, and they're really good at making females cry once they kind of they're kind of introspective about the conversation that they're having. Usually they'll end up crying, and that makes for great edits, so they can get people interested in seeing the show. But that is their basic format. And what they were talking about on this particular episode, I really do not know. I do know that the host is the one who brought the conversation around to Mustache Man, right? Because I don't know if I can say his name without getting a hit. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm talking about, the German dude, little dude that was always drugged the fuck up. Anyway, her viewpoints on Schindler were basically that he was trying to help his people and he was trying to rid his community of this scourge, that scourge being Jewish people. And she basically said that there was something that the Jews had to have done to deserve such treatment, right? And obviously this had people up in arms, rightfully so. She put up a bullshit response or apology. I'll try to put that up here as well. You could tell you knew that it was absolute bullshit. She just said it because she was starting to feel that wrath. But I want to talk about the ignorant bullshit that she was spewing, right? Thing number one was that the Jews had to do something, right? And she said that they wanted repercussions in America. I believe what she was talking about was reparations. And this goes to show that sometimes people intake data, right, and information, but they aren't aware of how to compartmentalize it. So it gets kind of stored in a miscellaneous box in their brain. And when they're having certain conversations, they tend to access these miscellaneous facts because they think that it aligns with what they're talking about. And I believe that what she was referring to was the reparations that some Jews did receive in America in regards to America's treatment of Holocaust survivors or people that were going through the Holocaust at that particular time. And that is usually a point of contingency that is utilized by white people to sow division between other races, right? They'll say, well, they'll say to a black person, well, the Jews got reparations and the Japanese got reparations and the native, the indigenous people got reparations, but they didn't do nothing for you black people. And of course, because most black people know the 40 acres and a mule myth that our great grandparents were sold and told, that tends to kind of spark something in them to make a black person go against whomever it is that has received any sort of reparation, as opposed to just being pissed with the American government for not stepping up and doing the right thing by Black America. People like this young lady do not take anything into account. So I've seen a lot of people asking, well, how would she feel if someone were saying that about black people, that slavery occurred because black people must have done something to get them put into that situation? Because that is indeed the metric that she tried to use for the Holocaust, right? And while that is absolutely 100% valid, the reason that it wouldn't matter to somebody like her is because she does not have any understanding even about slavery, right? And I say that, I'm not going to go too far into the weeds on that, but if she understood how slavery worked, if she understood what breeding farms were, if she understood the importance of a holiday like Juneteenth, she would never say the bullshit that she said. But she has no idea of the importance of those things, which are part of what makes her reality, right? So of course she doesn't have any awareness when it comes to the situation that happened in Germany with the Holocaust, right? And again, I'm not at all offering her any excuse or any justification for her ignorant bullshit. I'm just trying to give a little bit of understanding as to how she got where she ended up at, right? Another thing that is very, very important, and I didn't see very many people talking about, was the host's involvement in that conversation, right? Now, in the edit that we saw, as a matter of fact, I'm going to play it now.
you guys think about Hitler?
What if the Jewish did something to the Germans that made them act a certain way, but nobody wants to talk about it? Like, the Jews don't want to take accountability.
That's
They don't.
That's
Yes.
I'm with you on that one.
Okay.
That's why, like,
I'm with you on
there
that
was
one.
up to something, so the Germans wanted to take them out.
Like payback.
It had to be something. Like, Germans wanted to take them out, all of them out.
They damn near
Marlon
wiped
likes
everybody
history.
off the map.
Something.
They started it.
To get somebody
Damn, he
that
Here
cheesing
we
hard,
go.
like, yeah, talk shit about them. Eat them up.
The Holocaust was the only way he can take out a huge population, like a huge amount of Jews all in one setting. But I already know what's going on. Like, I'm not dumb. Like, I know, like, the Jews did something. That's why they sent up here. They're trying to take back, like, they're trying to take back and get repercussions, especially from America, like, from Americans. So they're taking over the government and stuff like that.
I'm telling you, how do we take them down?
How do we take them down?
Yeah.
I mean,
Gotta kill the motherfuckers.
I hate to say it.
My bad, y'all.
My bad.
Hitler, he had the plan, but his plan was just too, like, very, like, gruesome, if we can say it.
Listen,
He said,
he had to do what he had to do.
But he had to do it.
He was like,
Listen, he was trying to save the world.
I
It didn't
agree.
work out. He did. Listen, he just did
I
what he
mean,
had to do.
Jews are the reason why the healthcare system and everything around us in the government is collapsing, because they're sitting up here stealing away from the American people.
In that edit, right, what we see is him kind of amping her up, right? Her and another one of the panel members kind of amping her up to, like, kind of just talk that shit, right? But what people don't know is that this host, like, he goes on these sorts of rants all the time. This is one of the things that he enjoys talking about. I'm going to play a few of his little rants here. I believe I have some of them saved up. So I'm going to play a couple of those, and I'll be back on the other side of those.
Hitler was right about y'all niggas. These dreidel spinning, yarmulke wearing, kibbutz inhabiting, genocidal fucks. Fuck you, motherfucker. I can say what the fuck I want to say, you dreidel spinning faggot.
When Hitler came into power, he wanted to rid Germany of Jewish influence, because he understood that Jews don't necessarily care so much about the host country. Rather, they care about each other and then having their own country.
I'm reading Mein Kampf right now. I'm a free thinker. I like to look at all different things. I don't believe a lot of the history of World War II.
Yo, he really cut.
Oh,
Yo, that's not the
Oh my God, bruh. Hitler? I don't even know how to say his first name.
Germany is a failed nation. You guys are owned by the Jews. You guys were better off with Hitler in charge, if I'm going to be honest.
He definitely brought Germany back from the brink of collapse.
I think Hitler was widely misrepresented. I don't think he's as evil as history says he is.
she fucking said the mustache man was a visionary. So y'all got to go over there and like that shit and support it when she says that type of shit. The Jews declared war on Hitler first. The Holocaust is the base. If we debunk the Holocaust, the whole fucking house of cards comes crashing down. The gas chambers, questionable. The cremations, nearly impossible. The witnesses, not really credible. They never found any real documentation saying we need to kill the Jews. We are occupied and controlled by fucking Jews. It is what it is. World Jewry and the power and influence of Zionist Jews all across the world has been a thing for a while. We know who runs the central banks. We know who fucking controls the politics here in the United States, and it's a fucking problem, all right? We need to figure out a way to take our country back from these Jewish supremacists. I fucking said it.
That is the host of that show, right? The main host. There's another dude who hosts with them, and I don't know either one of these guys' names. I usually do research and my due diligence, but I really don't want to know anything about these dudes. But there is another host for the show. I don't know his name either, and he is a black guy. And I feel that he is just as culpable as his Muslim counterpart, and just as much to blame as that young lady for everything that was said. Because he's kind of co-signing. You hear him kind of adding to the conversation as well in the clip, but more than than that, he is also one of the millions of people who are, I don't want to say brainwashed, because I don't think that there are too many people that knew this and somehow have forgotten. I think that is something that is not very often talked about unless unless it happens in certain circles or certain conversations. And that is the way that Schittler, pardon me, I'm probably gonna have to bleep that out. I got to figure out how to do that now. Anyway, they don't understand Mustache Man's feelings on anybody else other than Jews. They don't understand that this guy hated everything that wasn't Aryan white. And when I say Aryan white, I mean the blonde hair and blue eyes. Like, he didn't rock with anybody else. He didn't have any kind of an affinity for black people. As a matter of fact, we were next on his list. He also wanted to execute all mentally ill people, all people that had any type of physical disabilities. He wanted to eliminate anybody he did not view as the perfect white specimen. And the only reason that he rocked with the Arab population is because he saw how they were able to grab hold and keep a stranglehold on places like Israel, because this, mind you, is all before Israel and before the UN stepped in and gave Jews the right to return back to their own land, right? What ended up happening is you had people like Hitler who were Schittler. God damn it. No, I already got to beep it once, right? But you have people like him who take an interest in how Muslims dominate and take interest in how America introduced the slave trade. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know the ghettos and the concentration camps that old boy created over there in Germany were modeled after American chattel slavery, right? Like, people, this is what makes old girl even more ignorant, because she doesn't understand that the blueprint that was used by this guy was taken directly from the blueprint that was used to basically enslave millions of people and to create a system that years and years and years later is still having negative connotations on today's society as a whole. And I'm not just talking about black people, right? But when you have that vast amount of ignorance, right? And then you have that pick me attitude, because that's another thing that I don't believe people who were discussing that video had a real understanding of. These girls are all seeking attention. Most of the time, they're trying to promote their OnlyFans and get their viewership up. And I don't knock nobody's hustle. Get your paper, however you're going to get your paper, right? But that's usually their goal. And old boy understood that and understands that if he amps these girls up, they will say just about anything that he wants to hear, because that is going to get people to visit their websites. And that is really all they're thinking about. Now, oh boy, he hates Jews. He despises the fact that Israel exists. He does not believe that Israel has a right to exist. So, of course, he is going to promote and do everything that he can to make sure that that messaging gets out to the public. And basically what he did was he used old girl. And from what I understand, since that podcast, he has not tried to have any kind of communication with her whatsoever. Not very surprising to me, probably surprising to her, because she was probably thinking that if she shared his point of view, that he would support her. And that is what people who have a pick me attitude take part in. Also, you've got to take into consideration, if you heard her speak, you know that she is definitely not the brightest bulb in the box, right? Definitely not the sharpest knife in the drawer. And she was taken advantage of in a way that put her on Front Street. But again, we need to know and understand that these hosts, this is what they do. This is the kind of information that they traffic in often. This is their messaging ultimately, right? Now, granted, if you look at most of their stuff, like I said, it's mostly misogynoir, right? But when you get under that and you get to the individual, like I just showed you guys, you'll see that this is the messaging that he wants to put out there. And he uses different people from time to time to get that messaging out because it offers him plausible deniability. He can say, well, listen, I didn't say that. You can't hold me responsible for what my guests say, you know, freedom of speech and blah, 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 and all of that stuff. And there are not enough people who are willing to push back against that narrative, right? And that's part of the reason that I decided to speak on it because, again, 100% old girl is a fucking idiot. There's no question about that. But we have to understand that she was literally just a useful idiot. Just like most of these pro-Pally people, they don't have any understanding of the situation that they're talking about. We all know this. This is not a secret. But they're loud, so they garner attention. And no one, including myself, has been able to figure out a way to stop that process from occurring. So when it does happen and it does kind of go viral, I think that it is important that we speak on it and people like myself break it down for those who know but don't necessarily understand, and for those who maybe really don't have any idea and like, okay, well, damn, maybe old girl is onto something. People like me need to speak out and let it be known that offering your support for Nazis, right, is not going to keep you safe as a Black person, right? Added on to the fact that co-signing the antisemitism that is being exhibited through the world is not going to help you when the Muslims come for you, right? Like, understand these people that I'm talking about, Islam right now, they are very specific as to what they want and expect and respect as far as women go. So old girl would be shitted on by both parties that she's holding up right now. And she is too ignorant to know it. And I keep saying the word ignorant because I don't know if she's stupid or not. I believe her to be stupid, but I know 100% that she is ignorant because ignorant means that you simply do not know what it is that you're talking about. And there's no way that somebody who has taken any time to study any aspect other than the millions of lives that were taken during the Holocaust to go into what else made Hitler tick, right? People who don't know any of that, they're not going to have any understanding of that. So it becomes easy for her to just say, oh, well, the Jews must have done something, not taking into account that the Jews were just level one. They didn't get past level one. Had they been successful, they were coming for Black folk next, and then they were going to come for everybody else. And ultimately, if they had kept succeeding, they would have went for Muslims as well, for the Arab nations as well. Like, everybody likes to point to that picture of Hitler, and the Mufti. Make no mistake, that was a real thing, a real alliance. That picture is not doctored. They were trying to learn from each other, and they were going to form some sort of an alliance. But it was only going to be so strong because both of them felt like their people were superior. So once they got rid of everybody else or got control of everybody else, they would have clashed. It would have been a clash of the Titans for sure. It just so happens that the world stepped in and stopped Hitler from being a 100% success, right? And the history books have told us what they've told us and have led to ignorant people like this black chick, and I don't even know her name. I did have her page, but she went private, which means that she's running from it. So it didn't really make sense to call any attention to her. But what I will say is that I hope that the backlash that she experienced, because I know that she got a lot of it, I hope that the backlash does not stop anytime soon, number one. And I hope that it is so harsh that she has no choice but to reflect and actually gain a little bit of understanding as to what it is that she was initially talking about. Because I think that it takes that kind of intense situation for people like her to learn not to just shut the fuck up, but to actually pay attention and become astute. I really think that this could be, I don't know that it will be, but I think that it could be something that motivates her into learning more about history in general. And that will ultimately make her a better human being. So, but as far as old boy, like I said, he is a raging anti-Semite, definitely one of those Islamist, jihadist kind of dudes who wants to see all women in a burqa and, you know, having 100% control of their bodies, and anybody who does not subscribe to their religion, they want them to pay that jizya. And, you know, like he's one of those guys. He's not just like, you know, he studies Islam and it's the religion of peace and blah, blah, blah. No, he spews actual hatred all the time. That is not anything that is new to him. And anybody that he can use or utilize to help him spread that message, he is absolutely going to use. So I just wanted to say, not trying to take any heat off of that chick. Get at her. She needs her karma to come to her. But we also need to pay special attention to the puppet master, right? Because he has utilized the same tactics that Qatar has used over the last couple decades to get so many people who look like me fooled into the idea that the Palestinian struggle is anything like the black struggle that actually occurred in America. So anyway, I know this is kind of rushed. Hopefully it made sense. Hopefully I can make it make sense in the edit. But this is something that was on my mind, and just because of how my wonky brain works, I would not have been able to go to the next thing that I wanted to talk about on the next episode if I had not done this. So had to put it out. I promise they're going to get better, but I really, like I said, I needed to get this one just out of my system. So if you are not aware of old girl's video, don't even investigate. See it, like that's literally like last week's news. She is not relevant. She has never been relevant. And because of her actions, she will never be relevant unless we make her relevant. I simply am using her as an example of what pick-me and ignorance look like when they are combined with someone who is a master manipulator like old boy. So with that said, protect your peace and have the day that you deserve. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, do all of the stuff. And I'm going to try to put my Patreon link up so that if you want to support the channel and help me grow and help the aesthetic grow and my equipment to get a little bit better and all of that, any support that you want to offer, well, you'll be able to do that via Patreon. So until the next episode, which may be very, very, very soon, or it may be next week, who really knows? But until the next episode, protect your peace and have the day that you deserve. Peace.
Hitler was right about y'all niggas. These dreidel spinning, yarmulke wearing, kibbutz inhabiting, genocidal fucks. What you guys think about Hitler?
What if the Jewish did something to the Germans that made them act a certain way, but nobody wants to talk about it? Like the Jews don't want to take accountability.